Every August, like clockwork, the exact same thing happened to me. All at once, the bills would come. The yearly subscriptions, I forgot, all seemed to renew in the very same month. The registration, the back to school, and the thing that I did not see coming that somehow I never see coming. All of it landing in the same 2 weeks. And I would sit there at my kitchen table staring at the pile, and I would think the words that had been following me my whole life. Why am I in this situation? Again. And I am not a careless woman. I budget, I try. I rate number 10 in my entire country, 200 out of a 200 in math. And still, every single year, the ambush, like something was wrong with me specifically, like I had been marked. And I used to truly believe that I was cursed with money. It took me 50 years to find out the truth. I am not cursed. I was just missing one single system that nobody had ever bothered to teach me. Because the problem was never my discipline. It was never my character. The problem was that I was budgeting for the month that I could see right in front of me and getting ambushed over and over again by the whole year that I could not. And I already know who is nodding right now. I am talking to the woman who does everything right and still get blindsided. The car repair that lands the same week as the vet bill. The December that shows up every single year like a total surprise, even though it has never once skipped a year in the entire history of the world. The woman who feels that hot flush of shame every time that this happens. And it's not because she is bad with money, but because it keeps happening again and again. It starts to feel like proof that something is broken inside of you. So I need you to hear me. First of all, you're not broken. You're not reckless. You are unsystemed. And there is a giant difference between those two things. And this whole video is about closing it. And I need to say this part for the women I really made this video for, the immigrant women, the Black women, the women who came into this country alone and built everything from scratch with nobody standing behind them to catch a single fall. When there is no net under you, an ambush is not just a bill, it is a threat. And here is the part that still makes me angry. Nobody ever sat us down and taught us this system. And then the same world turned around and called us reckless for not knowing it. They withheld the lesson and then they graded us on it. So no, you were never careless. You were left out of the class. And today, class is in session. And one quick thing before I go on, I am not a financial advisor. This is my story and what I learned the hard way. For your own money, please go and find a real professional. But this one simple system, I can hand it to you right now, today. So let us start with the biggest lie the ambush tells you. It tells you that it is bad luck, a cruel one of emergency, the universe having it out for you specifically. But look at it a little closer. Most of what wrecks us is not actually an emergency at all. Christmas is not an emergency. It is on the calendar. It has been on the exact same calendar for 2,000 years. The annual car registration is not a surprise. The insurance that renews every 12 months is not an ambush. Your tires slowly wearing down is not the universe punishing you. That is just physics. And my confession is that I once got a nail in my tire. And I sat in that car and I actually cried. And I cried not really because of the tire, but because it felt like the money gods had personally chosen me, like I could not get ahead. Because something would always come around to knock me right back down. I took a completely normal, predictable cost and I turned it into proof that I was cursed. And here is why that one word again cuts so deep. It is not really about the bill at all. It is about the story the bill seems to confirm. Every ambush feels like the whole world agreeing with the worst thing you secretly believe about yourself. That you cannot do this, that everyone else got handed a secret that you were never given. So that nail in the tire never just costs you the repair, it costs you your confidence. And that is a far, far more expensive bill. So write this one down somewhere, you will see it. Most of what we call a money emergency is not an emergency at all. It is a bill that we refuse to look at until it was standing at the door knocking. So, if these things are so predictable, then why do they keep winning? They keep winning because we are budgeting in the wrong unit of time. And there is one simple system that fixes exactly that. It is called a sinking fund. And I know that sounds like boring, cold bank language. So let me tell you what it actually is in plain human words. An emergency fund is money for the thing that you did not see coming. A sinking fund is money for the thing that you absolutely did see coming. And most of what breaks us is that second kind, the things that we absolutely see coming. And it is so simple that it honestly made me angry that nobody told me sooner. So I am going to hand it to you in 4 small steps so you can build the whole thing this week. So, step 1. Open your first 3 funds, just 3. The car, Christmas, and the once a year bills, like those August subscription that used to gang up on me. Those 3, they catch most of the ambushes that break a budget. And then step 2, give every fund a name and a job. This matters more than it sounds because money with no names gets spent. But a fund called Christmas with a job called December does not slide out of your bank account on some random Tuesday. The name is the guardrail. And then step 3, do the divide by 12 month. Take the yearly cost divided by 12 and set that one small piece aside every single month. December is coming whether we like it or not. So when it arrives, the money is already sitting there, waiting. You are not scrambling. You are not reaching for a credit card. It is just done. And then step 4, because I know somebody is doing the math on a tight budget right now. When you cannot fund them all, you do not quit. You triage. Fund the ambush that is coming soonest first and let the others wait their turn. And start with what you actually have, even if it's just $5 a month. This was never about having money. It is about catching the money that you already have before it slips through your fingers. So keep the funds in a separate little account if you can, just far enough away that you cannot spend them by accident. $5 with a name and a job, it beats $50 floating loose. 4 steps. That is the entire system. And that August ambush that used to knock me flat every single year, with the funds open and named, it quietly turns into an ordinary Tuesday. My confession is that I will never forget the first time that a big bill landed and then the money was already there. I braced for the panic. Oh yes, I did, out of pure old habit. And panic just did not come because the money was sitting there exactly where I had left it for myself on purpose. And I cried that time too, but it was a completely different kind of crying. Because if you take one line from this whole video, take this one. You do not rise to the level of your money goals. You fall to the level of your money system. A sinking fund is simply a system that catches you before you ever fall. And if you are done being ambushed and you are ready for the kind of peace where the next bill simply cannot break you, then subscribe and stay right here with me. Because this whole channel is a 50-year-old woman building these systems out loud in real time so that you never have to figure it out alone in the dark. You were never cursed and you belong here. But here is the real thing. The system was never actually about the money. It was about what all that ambushing was doing to your mind. Because living in ambush mode costs you so much more than money. It keeps your whole body braced. A part of you is always scanning the horizon, waiting for the next surprise, the next hit, the next bill that you completely forgot about. And you cannot create anything from inside that place. You cannot plan or dream or build or truly rest when a piece of your mind is permanently on guard duty. I know this one personally because for years I could not think clearly. I could not make anything. I could not dream past the end of the month because there was always a quiet little voice in the back of my head doing math, always waiting for the other shoe to drop. And my confession is that the money worry did not just drain my bank account. It drained my creativity. it took up the exact space in my mind where a bigger life was supposed to go. The ambush was not only costing me dollars, it was quietly costing me my imagination. Just think about that for a second. The bigger thing you never started, the trip that you never let yourself plan, the bold, brave idea that you never once reached for. Some of that was never a lack of courage. It was that fear had already rented out the entire room where your courage was supposed to live. And this is the discovery that changed everything for me. Financial peace is not having a huge pile of money. It is knowing that the next bill will not break you. That quiet, that one specific kind of quiet is what finally frees your mind to go and build the life that you actually want. And there is one more thing that the system does, the thing that almost nobody ever talks about. Because when you finally stop getting ambushed, the shame lifts. That word again, the one that used to arrive when every single surprise bill, it just stops coming. You stop believing that you are the one broken person who simply cannot get it together. And this is the part I hold the closest. So let me just say it plainly. A problem kept in the dark blocks your blessing. When your mind is full of fear and shame and secret little money math, there is no room left for anything good to come in. You cannot receive with your hands clenched shut. And my confession is that when I finally drag my money out into the light and I put a real system around it, something loosened inside of me. Room opened up, and not just in my budget, in my spirit. I could breathe again. I could think again. I could want things again without being immediately punished for it by fear. Now, let this land all the way because it is the whole video in 4 sentences. You were never cursed. You were never bad with money. You were a capable, intelligent woman who was missing one system. And a system is not a personality. A system can be learned at 50 years old, at 60 years old, starting this very afternoon. And I want to say one more thing directly to the women who feels far too far behind to even begin. You are not too late. A system does not care how many years you spent without one. It only cares about the very next month. You do not have to go back and fix all the past ambushes. You just have to get out in front of the next one. And then the next one after that. That is how the curse quietly ends. Not all at once in some big dramatic moment. One named fund at a time. So before you go, let me put the whole system in your hand one more time, small enough to carry. Number 1, the ambush is not bad luck. It is a predictable bill that you refuse to look at until it knocked on your door. Number 2, the system is 4 steps. Open 3 funds first, the car, Christmas, and then the yearly bills. Give each one a name and a job and divide the cost by 12. And when you cannot fund them all, triage. Nearest ambush first, even at $5. And number 3, the real prize was never the money. It is the peace in the room in your mind that all the fear used to take up. And the one underneath all of them, you were never cursed. You were missing a system. And a system, it can be learned and it can be fixed at any age. So let me go back to that woman at the kitchen table every August, staring at the pile of bills, absolutely certain that she was cursed, certain that something was wrong with her specifically. She was not cursed. She was not broken. She was a smart woman fighting a completely winnable war with the wrong weapon. Give her the system and the curse just disappear. Because it was never actually a curse in the first place. It was a gap, a missing piece, and a gap, unlike a curse, can be filled. That right there is the whole difference between shame and hope. Shame says you are the problem. Hope says we're just missing a piece. And today I am handing you the piece. You see, I spent years believing that I was cursed with money. I was not. I was missing one system that nobody ever handed me. And you are not cursed either. You never were. So starting over at 50 years old is not about never having a hard bill again. It is about never being ambushed by your own life again. That is peace. And peace at 50 years old is its own kind of second birth. All right, and if we have not met yet, I am Webley. I started over at 50 years old, and I make videos about doing it with your dignity intact. Now, I want you to tell me in the comment, what is the one fund that you are opening this week? Just the name, car fund, Christmas fund, peace fund. I want to see a whole wall of fund names down there in the comments. Then go open the account for real. And I will meet you back here tomorrow.